Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please, as you join us, just let us know where you're joining from. It's great to be here. It's great to be doing this. Let us know if you can hear us as well. If we're good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be a wonderful time this evening. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. To having a great time.
And I'm also looking forward to it. Thank you guys for joining us. This is another live session, and we're going to be discussing some very interesting questions today. All right, so looking forward to it as well.
Okay. So I asked, just for the benefit of those who'll be joining us, this is singles talk,
Yes.
right? And we'll be taking questions that have come to us from our audience. People have sent us a number of questions, and we'll be addressing them. Feel free to pop your questions in the comment section, and we'll come to them. We haven't introduced ourselves. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am always Victor.
Always. So if you're new to our channel, this is Foundation for Family Affairs. At Foundation for Family Affairs, our mission is to connect hearts and raise healthy families. And today we're just so excited because it's more like heart connection, isn't it? Okay. So I asked some singles what they thought about being single, about singlehood, and we got some reactions, uh, which I would read to you. Some said they feel isolated. My question exactly was, how does it feel to be single? And some said they feel isolated. Some said they feel lonely. Some said they feel so. So just going through my list here. Yes, some said they feel unsupported. Unsupported. But then I met some who said it's been exhilarating. They're having the best time of their lives. And they think it must be boring to be married. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I don't, because that's not my experience. So
Okay.
yeah.
So tell us a bit. What do you think about these reactions? I thought we would address this before we go on.
Some of them, in fact, I don't agree with all of them, but that's not the angle I want to come from.
It is their experience.
It is their experience, exactly. That's not the angle I want to come from. So what I want to look at is, when the comment of they feel unsupported.
Yeah.
Oh, that touched me. And I think that's one of the reasons why we run this ministry, Foundation for Family Affairs, all right, is to give opportunities to single people, to engaged couples, to married couples, provide them with the necessary tools, provide them with necessary knowledge, provide them with necessary support so that they'll be able to get the life and the relationship and the family that they deserve. And that's our goal. All right. So if you feel supported, please come on our YouTube channel. If you feel unsupported, I beg your pardon. Come on our YouTube channel, come on our Instagram page. Everywhere you find us is same Foundation for Family Affairs. You will definitely get content that will help you. And we've also published some books. We have some free ones that you can download from our website. One of the titles is How to Attract and Keep a relationship, or something like that. Yeah. So download that for free. It's going to definitely help you. And we also have a title, Relationship Red Flags. We talked about the different red flags that you need to look out for when you are considering one particular person. Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful as well.
Yes, and for the person who said you feel lonely, I mean, it shouldn't be a lonely walk. There are a lot of single people out there. You know, you might. I understand. I'm trying not to go too far into talking about being alone. Okay, but loneliness is, where that feeling of social isolation, isn't it? So you could come out a bit and mingle. There are some people, start with same sex if you feel comfortable, and then see how that goes. But hey, life is good. And being single is interesting. You might as well just make the most of the time while you're single. You have all the time in the world to make all your trips, explore. We're speaking with this couple and at the course of the week, and they said to us, one of them never had the chance to really enjoy singlehood, being single. One did a lot of traveling, exploring the world, being very adventurous. The other didn't. And right now, one feels, oh, I should settle. And the other is itching to go. Come on, I need to see the world. You know, It doesn't mean being married makes it boring. Certainly not, because you can enjoy life with the husband or wife of your youth, right? If you, I mean, it's about interest, just awaken the interest. But then I'm trying to say you can enjoy life as a single person, explore the world, explore your hobbies.
We often say something to single people. We say, don't put your life on hold because you're waiting for a relationship. All right. Don't put your vision on hold. Don't put your career on hold. Don't put your financial life on hold because you are waiting for a relationship. Pursue your hobbies. All right. Pursue your dream, pursue your vision. Sometimes in the process of doing that, you find people who share your values, who share your passion, and it's easier that way. All right. Don't say, oh, I don't want to do this so that when the guy comes, he will not think I am at this level. No, express yourself, be who you are. Of course, with wisdom, but pursue your dreams. Don't put your life on hold. Keep moving. Keep slaying.
I can see some people have joined us. Feel free to pop your comment or anything in the comment section as we go. So let's take the first question. Do you want to take the first one?
So the first question is, how can I identify and break negative dating patterns that may be holding me back? Two keywords: negative dating patterns that is contributing something, holding you back. Thank you, whoever sent that question. Thank you so much. You don't want to mention your name. Well, thank you for that. So, what do you think about that question? How can I identify? So, the first thing here is identify. How do you want to identify something? First, you need to observe. So you have to look at yourself, look at the different dating patterns, the different dating. You want to say something?
No, I wanted to say what jumped at me as you asked that question was a journey of self-discovery, which is very, very crucial at this point. For you to be able to identify something, you want to look inwards. Okay, so it's a point of self-awareness, but it's just you also going in search for something.
So it's a journey of self-discovery. You have to sit first and reflect. Reflecting means looking back at some of the relationships we've been in. Whether some of the things that your spouse or your partner then was complaining about. So maybe some of the dating pattern, if you say the appointment is 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock is when you leave your house and you keep people, you stand people up every time. When someone corrects something that you do, instead of you listening, you become defensive. So you need to listen. So what are some of the negative dating patterns? So one of the things you need to do is to sit down first and reflect. Another thing that will probably be useful to you is to talk to people who know you well. All right, because sometimes we have things in our blind spots. There are things about myself that I don't know that my wife knows. And vice versa. There are things about herself that I don't know, that she doesn't know, but I know. I tell her, I call it out. The reason being that it's a blind spot for her. It doesn't mean that she wants to continue in that. It's just a blind spot. She doesn't know. All right. So sometimes you have people in your life who love you, who know you well. All right. That will be able to tell you, I think that there's a way you come across. You come across sharp. You come across abrasive when you are talking to this. When you're talking to a guy, when you're talking to a girl. There is this chip on your shoulder. You think that a lady should be running after you. Someone that will tell you some specific traits that you might not even be aware of. That would be very useful. Yeah. All right. So these are some of the thoughts that I was thinking in terms of some of the key things that will really, we've talked about reflection, that's you looking within. I've talked about external, people giving you feedback. So people who know you well can also be able to look at that. Another one is for you to identify some of your triggers. All right. So you may observe some triggers that once you start a relationship, the person is getting to know you, the person is asking you, okay, when else can we see? And that question triggers fear in you, like, oh, am I getting too committed? Am I getting too neck deep in this? That might be a trigger for you. And so the issue is not the people, the issue might be you. So you might be able to find out, why do I get triggered when somebody wants to get to know me more? Why am I afraid of? Is it what do you call it now? I've forgotten this word. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I'll remember it later. So this syndrome that makes you feel like more like when people get to know you, they may not like you. All right. I've forgotten the name. I'll remember it now. So sometimes people are afraid that, they are very good in small talks in relationship at the surface level. Once the relationship looks like it's becoming serious, looks like the person is needing more time, it triggers a certain fear in you that makes you self-sabotage the process.
Okay,
You
so
have to be able to identify that.
let me just pause at this point and ask a question I think anyone watching us may be thinking about. You've given us one, but just so we can dig into it, what are examples of negative patterns? There was one you talked about when you were speaking earlier about like going late for an appointment. What other negative patterns can people relate to?
So the truth about negative patterns is that everybody will have their own negative pattern. So what somebody else will do that will not be an issue for me, somebody else may be an issue for somebody else. So if I'm in a dating relation, for example, if you make a promise that you're going to do something and you don't do it, I think that's a negative pattern. If you don't turn up on time, that's a negative pattern. If you come, I ask you, I'm taking you out on a date and I come there and see your whole village, that's a negative pattern. So by a whole village, I mean, I see your friend, your best friend, your best friend, best friend, your best friend, best friend, best friend. I see your dad, I see your mom. Everybody's coming to sit on the table for us. No, that's a negative pattern. All right. You have this disposition that that the relationship is a one-sided thing, that you're not bringing any value to the table. You think that the father, I'm a man, I should sponsor you through life, even though we're not married. That's a negative dating pattern, because you are coming across as a liability to me, not as an asset. And why will I want to go ahead with liability? That's what many single men I talk to. So that's some of the flag.
Thank you for pointing that out. And as you were speaking, one point that really jumped at me was, what do people around you complain about? What do the people you have been in a relationship with, people you have gone out with, colleagues, peers, what do they complain about? That might be a point as well. We're talking about identifying it.
Absolutely.
So that could be a point as well.
Another thing I also want to talk about is sometimes negative beliefs. So you have to be able to, so the question is, how can I identify? So you have to be able to check your own negative beliefs. All right. Check what are the belief systems you have about relationship. Some people believe that men are, they have some derogatory terms. Women are all this. If you have that belief system, you are going to unconsciously treat them that way. Because if you think something is valuable, you're going to treat it as valuable. All right. Because where your heart is, your treasure will be. So if you have a Rolex watch, for example, you're not going to give it to a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old to just be using it to smash somewhere. No, you're going to keep it. Why? You think it's valuable. If you think a relationship is not valuable, you're going to treat it with disdain, because you're just feeling like, I'm just doing this just for, there's nothing I should be. So you have to be able to look at some of your beliefs system, some of the belief system you have around relationship, around ladies, around men, that might be seeping through your behavior unconsciously. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I think you also need to look at to be able to identify some of the negative dating patterns. Now, another way you know that you have a negative pattern is when you keep having the same experience over and over again. We're going to talk about that much later, but it's very important for us to be able to talk about this. So if you go through all this and you can't seem to be able to pin your, more like identify some of these negative patterns, you may need a professional help. You may need a coach. You may, reach out to us. We're happy to help you. 1 hour is free. We just have to have a chat with you and find out what are the real issues. So once you identify the issues, then we can now move forward from there, because we believe that without proper diagnosis, there cannot be proper prognosis. You have to be able to identify what are these issues, then we can move forward.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think you dealt with that really well.
Yeah, I think I smashed.
Let me say so. Let me say so. Okay. So another question we have here says, what are some practical tips for navigating online dating platforms and apps successfully? What are some practical tips for navigating online dating platforms and apps successfully. I know some people will cringe that, right? Do I really want to be on there? But like we always like to say,
let's talk about that.
Yes, like we always like to say, AI has come to stay. These things are what they are right now.
Absolutely.
And what we say is look inward. What's your social life really like? We may ask, how often do you go out? So we see that that's something plaguing a number of single people right now. It's just like some who work from home rarely even go out. So they have to force themselves to maybe book something for Friday evening. Some go to church, and then for those who go to church, because we find a number of people who go to church online now.
Absolutely.
Right. So some people just live this triangular life. It's just work, home, church, or maybe one or two things if possible
that they really drag you out to.
Yes, and you go out and you don't even mingle. You don't talk to
just
anyone.
sit in a corner where you can observe everybody coming in and coming out, so that nobody disturbs you.
Yeah. So what we found now is that a lot of people feel more comfortable going online.
Yeah.
When I say comfortable, they find it more convenient.
Yeah.
Because of timing, right? It just seems like, okay, there's no time, but I could lie in bed while I'm trying to unwind and see if I can chat with someone. And when we say online, sometimes people cringe about going on dating apps. I know it's part of the question this person has asked.
Yes.
But then online platforms also include Facebook, also include Instagram.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's not make light of those because we have seen people who found their loved ones there. Okay, now just before you start talking about it in a manner that is not nice. What we often recommend is that when you meet people online, ensure that you take it offline.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't know this person. Now, before you even consider taking this person offline, there are certain checks you could do. You may want to check out who your mutual friends are.
Yes.
If I see someone is a mutual friend of mine, I may want, if I feel comfortable, I could approach that person to ask, what do you know about this person? If the person doesn't know much, the person might point you to somebody who will know much or do the research for you. But what we're trying to say is you must do your due diligence. We've done a video of that. Can I find love online, or can love be found online? You'll find that if you search our YouTube channel. But yes, I think that's very important.
Yeah, I like what you said in terms of it has come to stay. It's not like any other platform, like meeting somebody at work, meeting somebody at the grocery store. It's now a reality. So the question is, what can I do to be able to navigate and really, really enjoy that process? Take it on. So one of the things is to identify what kind of marriage do you want first. And I'll tell you why that is important. So before you start a relationship at all, sit down and ask yourself, I've seen this type of marriage, I've seen my parents' marriage. I like this about it, I like that about it, I like that, I don't like X, Y, Z. I've seen my brother's marriage, I've seen my sister's marriage, I like this, I like that, I don't like X, Y, Z. I've seen my uncle's marriage, and then from some of the case studies around you, some of the books you've read, some of the things you've heard, sit down and say, now, I know what I don't want, but what do I want? Because sometimes I think we focus on what we don't want, and then we attract more of it. Because whatever we focus on, we make bigger.
Yeah.
So sit down and say, what exactly do I want? How will a good day in my marriage look like? From time you woke up in the morning. So let's say today is 4th of August, 2023. So let's say 4th of August, 2025. All right, maybe you're married then. What will a typical day look like? You draft it out. Oh, I woke up at 6 in the morning. I had a chat with my husband. We prayed together. Just describe the positive experience, the ambience, how you were feeling, how you supported each other. Make it so crystal clear. Once you have that picture in your mind so clear, you need to write a proper script such that people can, if I take it to Hollywood, they can duplicate it exactly because you'll be so detailed. That's how detailed it needs to be.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work. This thing I'm describing. So you have to talk about what were you wearing, what was he wearing, what did he say to you, what did you say? Make it so detailed. How was the room? What was the room looking like? What was the lighting? What was the bed sheets? What was the smell in the room? You have to be very, very detailed. So once you do that, you now ask yourself, what kind of a guy, if you're a lady, what kind of a lady, if you're a guy, that you will need to be able to create this kind of marriage. Very important. So make out a list of the kind of so this kind of feeling I have. I need a guy that will be cerebral. I need a guy that will be this, look at the key areas. How was it like? How is it like financially? How is it like spiritually? How is it like physically? How is it like emotionally? You have to draft some of these key things down. All right. Now the question is, you now know the kind of person you're looking for. So that will now lead us to the next. So from once you know the kind of marriage, will now lead us to the next thing, which is what qualities are you looking for? So these qualities, what you are going to write out. So with these qualities now, you can now visit a particular app and say, so that when you are searching, you're not just searching randomly just based on their pictures. You are searching based on what they write about themselves. Whatever they've written about themselves, their profile, you are using that to kind of sift through. I know it might not be as helpful as it is, but at least you know what you want. Very important. When you know what you want, it's easier for you to recognize what you don't want. Okay, so you can look at the profile. Another point is so once you clarify that, you now choose a relevant platform, because it's not every platform that you want to be on. There are some specific platforms. For example, Instagram is a good platform where people can see what you're doing. Facebook is another platform, but there are specific apps that are dating apps. I think one of them is what's the name of this movie that we saw that time? Tinder. All right.
That one was dangerous.
Tinder is an example. I'm not recommending any, by the way. No one is paying us for advertisement. I think there's another Bumblebee or something. So find whichever one will be relevant. Do a research around this and do a comparison. You see people who make comments online. So, and then with that, because each different apps have different strengths and weaknesses, and some of them have different demographics. So you'll be able to see, all right, so this one fits my value system. If you're a person of faith, find one that addresses your core needs and go on there. And then, so because each of them, like I said, have different strengths. So the first thing I said is know the kind of marriage, know the kind of person you're looking for, and then choose the right platform. Yeah.
Something I wanted to talk about is your profile. Okay, when you're on there, right? Because this person is asking about apps specifically. So if you decide to venture in, and join one of these apps, you have to be very careful what you put out as your profile.
Yes.
Because we worked with someone whose relationship crashed because of it. And the person said you weren't honest. What you had on your profile wasn't what I realized when we started speaking. So you might as well be honest. This is who I am. And sometimes when we speak about this, it just boils down to people not being authentic. Be authentic. This is who you are. Because you really want to be yourself in a relationship. You don't want to get into a relationship and start pretending. So mind your profile. What you state on your profile.
That's very important, because that's the basis of which the person is going to establish contact with you. All right. So if the person get to know you and then find out what you wrote is wrong, it's already stabilizing the relationship before it starts. So the next thing first is to be patient. If you see somebody you like, you see a face you like, you see a profile you like, don't be impulsive to just send them a message. Observe a few things. Don't send them your address. Be very careful about the information you share online. Like sometimes people have an online persona that's slightly different from their real persona when you meet them in person.
Right.
All right. So very important. Don't just allow the person to sweet talk you and then you are exchanging images even before you meet. No, that's not safe. All right. You don't know who the person is. It's like you enter the market, you don't just give your credit card or your debit card to anybody. No, that's access. That's too much power. So you guard that jealously. You be careful with the information.
A lot of people are falling victim of that.
A lot of people are falling victim of that. There's a movie we saw on Netflix, the Tinder something. I forgot the name of the
Swindle, something like
Swindle or something.
Swindler.
Yeah. So that is a typical way of how some of those patterns can go wrong. But let's not focus on the negative. There are also positives about it. I just see it as a tool, depending on how you use it. So it's like, for example, the knife is a good thing, but people can use it for evil. People can use it for good to make meal at home. So it's about the tool is neither good or bad. It's how people are using it. At the time is how it turns out. So very important, yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to speak to, starting conversations on there as well. Don't just go there expecting the person to do all the talking. I mean, you know what you want. You just talked about clarifying your relationship goals. So I know why I'm here. So it's even better that you pull the person out with questions, talk about them. So if the person is not your kind of person, you know to move on quickly and not waste your time. So get ready, go there ready, ready to start conversations, not just stay on like hi, hi.
Yeah.
Good, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. You know, and it's dragging. You go there ready.
Some people will say hi and then they will not respond to the next 2 weeks. Nice to meet you now. So these are some of the things that you need to look at, So we mentioned know what you want, We've mentioned the security conscious that just share all the information. Also follow your instincts.
Yes.
So if you meet someone, everything is looking all glamorous, all wonderful, or glittering, but something about it is just off for you. Pause. All right. Don't be in a haste. Don't be in a hurry. So if something about it is just off. You're just feeling like something is not quite right with this. Pause and have another look. Have a closer look. All right. It's very important for you not to silence that voice. All right. That is telling you inside, my daughter, something is not right. My son, something is not right. Pause and have a closer look. Very important. So trust your instincts. After you meet people online, take it offline, go to a public place. All right. I think this point is also very relevant to the security part.
Yeah.
Take it offline, go to a public place where, it's easy for you in case the person is, what do you call it now? Is he a freaky person, someone a spooky person? You have an opportunity, at least you will be easy, it will be easy for you to access help. All right. Very important for you to be able to do that. All right. So another thing I like to say is that you need to stay positive and resilient. Sometimes it doesn't work as fast. The fact that it's online does not mean that everything will move really fast, because the assumption is that if it's online, it's going to be fast, fast this, fast that, faster. No, sometimes it just because it's not you that is going to be driving everything. The other person is going to be driving it as well. So if someone is reaching out to me to connect, if I'm not feeling the person, I may not respond.
Right.
So you cannot start a relationship and end the relationship by yourself. Another person, the person you're trying to reach out, must reciprocate for you to be good.
Yeah.
So if you have any question, if you have any point, please pop it in the comment section. We'd like to have more interaction with you. Tell us what, some of your own points. If you have questions that you want us to answer on the spot, post the question there. We'll definitely try to get to the question as well. All right. So very, very important for you to be able to do that. Okay. So
one last point I wanted to say is to keep an open mind. I know there's a lot of bias around going online. In some settings. Okay, but if you're going to decide to venture out, then keep an open mind. But have your targets, have your goals, like he's just mentioned, and treat it as an adventure with safety.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. You want to say something else?
Yeah. So the next question someone asked us was, what should I do if I keep attracting the wrong type of partners? All right. The wrong type of partners is relative. But for you, this person, this set of people are the wrong type of partners. What should you do? Okay. Now, this may sound really, really strange to some people, but actually it does happen. Excuse me. It does happen where specific people that we have worked with, it just by the time we do an audit of their relationship, they will just see like a pattern of some kind of ladies that they keep attracting. By kind of maybe abrasive, aggressive, unavailable ladies.
And that's often the reason the relationship breaks up.
Yeah. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. just see same type of different people, but they have some very core predominant attributes that keep showing up. All right. So if you, and now for us, before you describe something as wrong type of partner, it must have happened at least 3 times. So the first time will just be, okay, maybe I didn't look well, I didn't make a good choice. Second time, maybe it's happenstance, The third time around, there is a law at work. There is something that is creating the same experience for you. All right. So the first thing you need to recognize that nothing is wrong with you as an individual. Nothing is wrong with you, because sometimes people think, oh, maybe I'm cursed. Maybe there's a generational curse. Maybe there is a spell on me. Maybe, no. It might just be the way you are thinking about or around the issue of relationship. That's it. But nothing is wrong with you. So you have to look at your belief system, your mindset around relationships.
What you're saying is really powerful.
Yes, around relationships, around dating, around, and so for example, some of the people we worked with, by the time we look at, and those most of them are shocked, be like, why is that I'm always attracting people that are not available for me? So like they are chasing the person and the person is chasing somebody else.
Yeah.
It happened the first time, they're chasing the person is chasing. So once they stop chasing, the person shows up again and does hula baloo and this and drags their emotion in. Once they are committed, the person disappears again. And it has happened regularly. Sometimes it may just be your belief system. Why? Because why we say that is sometimes because you are the common denominator. So you have this interaction with 3 different people who don't even know each other, but you are the common denominator. So there may be something about your belief system that needs to be examined and tweaked for you to have a good experience.
Yeah.
All right. So we worked with a lot of single on this issue, and we found out that it's one of the most recurring issues that people just feel stuck. That as hard they work, no matter how hard they work, you see end up in the same place. Why? Because the belief system is what is creating that. So our belief system is like a mirror, like a mirror where you look at yourself to do makeup or to comb your hair. That mirror you're looking at is showing you your face as it is. So once you see your face, let's say you have a dark thing on your face, it tells you that there's dark thing. So you clean it off. So your life is a reflection of the state of your heart. So if you don't like what you are seeing in your life, don't attack people to say, oh, this person, oh, people, all men are this. No, look within you and make the correction and the adjustment. So if I see something on the mirror, I don't say, oh, this mirror is bad. Oh, this, of course, there are 40 mirrors. Yeah. But for the purpose of this illustration, you don't say you have something on your face. Oh, why is it showing me that? I don't like this mirror. Let me look at another mirror. Then you have the same experience. Oh, I don't like this mirror. That's exactly what is happening. So people end a relationship. No, I don't like this guy. They enter another relationship. The same thing is showing on their face. They enter another relationship. The issue is not the people, not the mirror. The issue is the mirror. You have to clean the stuff off the face so you stop seeing it. So you have to look at your belief system. All right. What belief system? So it's not necessarily what we can do here. It's something that you have to probably have a chat, because there have to be a set of questions that we're going to ask to be able to know your pattern, to know how you came to this point, to know your history, to know your thinking pattern, and to identify some of these limiting beliefs. We call them limiting beliefs because it's limiting you from experiencing the relationship that you want and the life that you want. It's limiting you. It's setting like a glass ceiling. So as hard as you hit, it keeps keeping you down on a certain place. So you need to be able to look at that.
Yeah. One point I wanted to speak to was, I would ask it as a question. What's the state of your esteem? Right? Do you have poor self-esteem? Because sometimes that could have an impact on how you behave in the relationship. We're talking about keeping the right. Why do I keep attracting the wrong partners? Yes. Sometimes there are people who feel they're not good enough. So they feel I'm less deserving of great people.
Absolutely.
There are people who would see great people and say, oh, it's for them, for those kind of people. That's poor self-esteem speaking up.
Absolutely.
So you need to check. Do you have esteem issues you need to deal with? This what we're talking about, it's work you need to do, great work you need to do on yourself. So if you think that could be the problem, why not look at the person in the mirror like we were speaking earlier and start practicing some positive self-talk. you need to get to the point where you look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm beautiful. Hey, I'm the delight of God. God made me in his image. Oh, great God. You know, I'm worthy of God's attention.
Wow.
So in that sense, I'm worthy of the attention of his creation.
Wow.
You know, say some powerful things to yourself. You are deserving. You deserve the best. You attract the best. So sometimes some of us need to start that, you know, positive self-talk. We keep talking down on ourselves. Sometimes even when we want to practice self-talk, we do negative self-talk. So you're saying, oh, I don't attract negative people. No, don't do that. Because what you focus on is what becomes.
Yes.
Right. So if I'm saying I don't already takes my direction my attention in the direction of the negative. So I say what I want to see. I am this. You know, the first time you start practicing that, it might seem difficult. You might even stutter a bit like, there might be a voice in your mind telling you, that's not you. You know that. Then you keep at it. You keep at it. Sometimes my dear husband here would look at himself in the mirror and say, hey, fine boy. And I'm like, what's that for?
Yeah.
You know, but it's great. We need to do that more often. You know, there's so much negativity out there. You need to, positivity should flow from within. You know, you need to have that. So another thing I thought I'll talk about is, could it be that you carry baggage from, you know, your previous relationship? That could also affect things.
Absolutely.
Especially when you've been in a relationship with someone who probably did a lot of damage to your esteem as a person, or behaved in ways that were not worthy. Okay, and you probably made you begin to think less of yourself. You could carry that to the next relationship, and you won't realize you're not forming a pattern. I was talking about patterns earlier. So I now get into this relationship. Probably, just to give an example, you were in a relationship where you were cheated on. And then you get into this relationship, you're with somebody entirely different. But then you start projecting those thoughts. Oh, there it is. He's acting like the other person. Or he's beginning to do this, or she's beginning to do that. I saw that. I think I've seen that before. I know what that is. And all of that, you know, could mess up the beautiful thing that you could create with this person.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And while you were talking, what came to my mind, another thing that can cause people to attract the same type of negative people or bad relationship might be, that is the only model they are aware of. So if you're growing up in an environment where your guardians or your parents had a certain kind of relationship, you might be attracting that kind of a person. So the people often say that people marry their spouses, their parents, a type of their parents. So like ladies sometimes look for a type of their dad. So if your dad was abusive, unconsciously, if you don't work on your psyche, particularly if you witness a lot of those abuses, you might attract an abusive guy. You might attract a guy that is verbally and physically abusive because that's the only model you've known. So you keep attracting those guys. So a part of you knows that this is painful. I don't want this, but that's the only model. So you have to break that pattern somewhere in your psyche. All right. So if you are in a relation, if you grew up in an environment where your mother was insubordinate, was rude, did not submit to your dad, insubordination. All right, practice on me. All right, you get to that point where you just say to yourself, I don't want to deal with this kind of attribute in a lady. And so you just unconsciously, that will be the type of lady you are, because you will have built the kind of resilience to say, no, I'm going to make sure I won't allow this to happen. I won't allow that. And the more, like she said, the more you're focusing on the negative, the more you attract it. It's called the law of attraction. Whatever you focus and give attention to, that's what will become bigger in your reality, bigger in your experience. So you have to check that.
Okay, I have another question here. I think we should scroll past some.
Yeah.
Time is flying really
fast. I'm just looking at it myself.
Okay, so this other one. How can I overcome past relationship traumas that may be affecting my current experience? How can I overcome past relationship traumas that may be affecting my experience? When we talk about traumas, sometimes some people do not realize they've been through traumas. Traumas are events that were probably distressing, traumatizing. Okay, I've used the same word. Very, they left an indelible feeling, and sometimes people don't realize they were traumatized until some point in the future. And something happens, they call them triggers. And it may be something that happened to you as a teenager. And then here you are, you're in your late 30s, and that thing surfaces, something just triggers it. And you find yourself panicking, sometimes maybe very fearful, or anxiety just builds. That's a traumatic experience. Really, really frightening, sometimes stressful experience. And what could be some past traumas. Sometimes for some people, it's especially in this line of work, we've seen a lot of this, childhood abandonment. When some were neglect and abandonment, some were probably abandoned by their parents or neglected. There's this thing we realized here. They'll say to you, oh, when babies cry, you need to go to them. So at that point they feel reassured. They feel like, oh, okay, it's just comforting to the child.
Yes.
But there were people who, as children, you weren't giving that attention. Children deserve attention. They deserve it. So some people who were probably neglected, not given the right attention by their parents, or even abandoned. Some probably saw one parent leave the home. And at that point, it affects children in different ways. There are children who see that and they take it as a sign of rejection. Oh, dad worked out. Dad doesn't like me. Or dad probably worked out because of me. And they begin to relate the problem their parents are going through to themselves. So what some people don't realize is they take this on to their current to adulthood. They grow with this if it's not taken care of, if it's not properly dealt with. They grow into adulthood with this, and it's sometimes starts affecting their relationship. Some even get married and then realize that it begins to affect intimacy, especially emotional intimacy. They find it difficult to be vulnerable with the persons they have married. And so these are very, very, very critical. You want to share some?
Yeah. I was just listening to, traumas are so powerful. It's a past event that is having impact on your present and your future.
Yes.
It's a past event that is laying hold on your present reality and in your future. So it's something that needs to be tackled head on. All right. So the first thing first is to acknowledge that there is a problem. Because sometimes when you leave, you probably you went through a traumatic upbringing, or you're telling yourself, I don't need anybody, I'm strong. I don't know. No. Sometimes when people are telling you, I don't need anybody, sometimes it's because of a traumatic experience. All right. Sometimes when you say, I don't need a man, sometimes because of a traumatic experience, maybe not their own, or through the something that happened to somebody close to them. Sometimes people say, oh, all women are this. Sometimes it's because of it. So we kind of cloud it with some form of macho bravado disposition. But underneath it is fear of being rejected, fear of having that same traumatic experience repeat itself, fear of being abandoned, fear of being disliked, fear of being discriminated on different fears. So this fear, it makes us develop this exterior shell that we use to protect ourselves from those experiences. No. The issue here is that there was a traumatic experience. You have to accept the fact that it happened and then seek professional help. All right? Very, very important. We cannot emphasize this enough. You have to seek professional help. Seek the help of a therapist. That will help you walk through some of the issues that actually happen. Seek support. Show yourself some empathy. Because some traumatic experience make people become really, really harsh on themselves. And so if they make a mistake, if you grew up with a very critical parent, that's a traumatic experience. It might make you become very critical on yourself, that no matter what you achieve, you always be telling yourself that, this is nothing, this is nothing. You don't sit down and really enjoy how far you've come, because you are constantly trying to meet an impossible line that's barrier or impossible mark that somebody set for you. And now that barrier or that attitude that now entered your subconscious, now you are now treating yourself like that. People are appreciating you. Oh, have you ever seen people that you are appreciating them for a good work? Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's nothing. They want to give compliment, but they don't want to receive compliment. They want to be of help to other people, but they don't want to receive. That's not good. It should be healthy. Give compliment, receive compliment. There are some people who like to receive compliment, but they don't like to give compliment because they feel that it's something that is scarce. It cannot go round because they were never probably they were never appreciated for anything. No matter what they did, people see found fault with it. So they are coming from a point of view that appreciation is scarce. All right. So they want all of it for themselves, not for any other person. All right. So that's a traumatic experience that is showing forth. So when that person now finds a relationship, someone buys you this, does that for you, the person acted all the quality love, what do you call it now? Love languages, but you don't respond to any of them. No, that's not nice. That is going to impact your relationship. So first thing first, to identify that it's an issue, seek support. All right, seek support. Show yourself some form of love. Identify your triggers. So, for example, if you were abandoned, like my wife said earlier on, anytime someone is ghosting you, not responding to your text on time, it may trigger that response. It may create a fear in you that, oh, this person is about to abandon me. And sometimes if you have not healed, address the trauma, may cut off the relationship before the person, but it may just be the person is ill. Instead of you checking on the person, just, what, I don't want to talk to you again, you just block the person. Why? Because you've sensed, that's how my dad, just started, was it becoming cold, it used to be warm, all of a sudden becoming cold, and all of a sudden we just found out I came back from school, instead he's no longer around. That traumatic experience, if it's not addressed, you might find yourself in a situation whereby when someone is not responding as quickly as you want, you may interpret and may trigger a certain reaction in you that will make you now shut down the relationship. All right. So, and these are some of the things that you need to actually look at the belief system you also have, and you have to be able to address. So the thing is, it's a lot to unpack. We're just throwing out some concept there that will just kind of juggle your mind to help you see, okay, maybe it is this, maybe that.
And I think it's really crucial that you discuss this with your current partner, the person you're in a relationship with. I know some people may not want to open up. It takes some people time to open up. It's the place of vulnerability, really. Okay, but if you are sure of the relationship, you're sure of this person you're in a relationship with, because come to think of it, it could be confusing for this person as well. You find people who are in a relationship like this sometimes, and they're asking, what have I done? What is it again? It just tells you that you do things that are shocking to this person, things that are out of normal to this person. So it could be confusing for that person. And if you don't deal with it fast, you could lose that relationship. It might be a wonderful relationship, but you need, that's why I'm encouraging you today to speak about it with this person. Talk about, like he's just said, identify the triggers. When you've identified these triggers, talk about it with this person. And do you know what? I think sometimes we get too conscious of ourselves that we do not want to talk about some parts of us. Like, okay, if I tell this person about my experience as a child,
he may not like me again.
He may not like me again. Exactly. But do you know what? We must get to the point where we be authentic. Like you can say something, but that would not happen until you do the first thing we talked about when we started, self-discovery. You've got to be aware of who you are. The process of self-discovery just entails that you know who you are. Okay, when you know who you are, why are you here on earth? When you discover your purpose, there's a level of confidence it gives to you. So you find out that you're not as needy as you used to be, thinking that, oh, I need this person to remain in my life. If I told him this part of me, he would work out on me. Oh, if he works out, it's okay. It means it was not meant to be. The person who would hear that story and even love you the more will come. Okay, so enough of us cutting ourselves short like this. You should changing yourself. Get into a relationship, be real with it. Because I mean, in marriage, you want to be with somebody you are real with. You want to do, it's real life. It's not relationship, so we can't be pretending. take the mask off. Come on.
And sometimes we may have to forgive certain people. All right. There was a time I enrolled for a leadership program. This was many years ago. This was 2003. So while I was going through that process, and so the person who was teaching us on emotional health, physical health, you know. And so he said sometimes people hold people in unforgiveness, but it causes physical damage in their system without them realizing. And then I was sitting at the front, and then he called me up. Then he asked me to hold him down. We wanted to demonstrate what it means to be not to forgive people. So he said I should hold him down. So I held him down like this, So that's basically the position. Like, oh, my wife did something to me. I'm going to hold her down like this. This time I'm holding. And so while we're there, was holding him down, it was a large class. So everybody was listening to what he was saying. And then he finished with the illustration. And then he carried on dictating the note and talking while I was still holding him down. The other people were writing notes. I was wondering what's happening here. Tell me to leave now. Yeah, I was still holding him down. After a while, I looked at him, he kept going. I said, I'm missing a paragraph. I just left him. And then he said exactly the points. But everybody just started laughing. He said, anytime you hold people down, you have to be there. All right, you're pinning them down. You are missing out on some other moments.
You've abandoned your life.
Abandoned your life.
Right.
And the message went straight home. All right. So sometimes you might think that, oh, this person hurt you. My dad hurt me. My uncle hurt me. Yeah. Forgive them, not because of them, but because of yourself, so that you can move on. And without forgiveness, the process of healing will not begin. It's time will fail us to be able to recount many single people that came to us that were heartbroken, that had people that were holding in unforgiveness, that had people that promised them marriage but married somebody else, that had people that, took their money and ran away, and they had to practically forgive them. That's this particular lady was practically crying when I told her, you need to forgive this guy. This guy did you really bad. Forgive him, and told her specific things to do. She said, Coach, I can do any other thing, but this I'm not going to do. I said to her, I said, lady, without this, you can't move forward. It's already showing. Look at how the emotion in your face, the expression, facial expression, it shows you that the pain is still raw and potent. You can't move forward without this. I told her a few things to do. She said she's not going to do it. I said, no, what, we're going to end this coaching because there's no point. We will not get results. That's when she took me seriously. And then she went through, she said she cried for days, cried for weeks as she was doing what I asked her to do. At the end of the day, she became completely free and liberated. Guess what? It got to that point where she had more than enough people that were asking her out. Today she's married, she's happy. She sent me a picture of herself and her husband and a beautiful child. Amazing story. If you don't forgive, you don't move forward. You are not doing them a disservice, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes. That was awesome. Should we take one more?
Yes.
If the time allow.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've got the lovely relationship builders for
Oh, fantastic.
Sorry for joining late. We will find you on that one. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Should we? I have one question here. Do you have one you think is really pressing? You see, one eye is not even enough to deal with all of this.
Yes, I think look at this.
We're doing our best.
One on red flags.
Okay, let's do it then.
Someone asks, what are some of the red flags to watch out for when dating someone new? What are some of the red flags? So let's explain red flag, green flags. So green flag is go, like amber, red, green. So green means go, red means stop, don't proceed further. Danger. All right. Amber means check it out, look closely, take a closer look. All right. So what are some of the qualities you should be looking out for? What are some of the red flags to watch out for when dating someone new? So pop your comment in the tell us some of the things that you look out for. That once you see this is a red flag for you. All right. So yeah. So one of the things, thank you. One of the things that we have to look at is number one, controlling behavior. That's a red flag. Now let me break that down. Let me give an example of a controlling behavior. There was a time I was on a trip with someone, and then the spouse of the person called. I was like, "Where are you?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm going. I'm just coming from the seminar." Blah, blah, blah. The lady asked him to call a video, and no, what then? There was no video call then. He said, she would give the phone to me to talk because she believed that she was traveling with another lady. It was the most awkward conversation and situation I found myself. So I had to say, hello, how are you? Okay, all right, give your phone back to her. I was like, wow, that's a very controlling. Now, I don't know the history of that relationship, but let's assume there was no history. There are some people that because of the baggage they have, because of the past experience, they are traumatized and they are bringing that into the new relationship. And they are penalizing the new relationship for the past behavior of other people. And so, no matter what you do, oh, where are you now? Who are you with? Where are you? If a guy is that controlling, where are you at? What's show me where you are? Who is with you? And or a lady is doing the same, it's a red flag.
Another one, someone shared with me. She had just started a relationship with someone a few months. And then one day they went out. She had started seeing the signs, but she wasn't so sure. And this day, particular day, they went out to eat. And during the course of having a meal, someone sitting close to them, where you shared a long table, someone who was very close to them spilled a drink. And, just good gesture, she jumped up with tissue to help dab the drink. And he initially pulled her back. She didn't understand that because she was thinking, oh, come on, before he goes in or before he spills on this person. Which was right. And he was very upset and started asking her, why would you do that in front of somebody? What other sign are you looking for? That's a controlling behavior. That's someone who, I mean, this is something you would expect of anyone. You're not even in a relationship yet, and he's treating you like this. That's a form of control. I'll give you some examples.
Yes. Yeah. Another one is dishonesty. All right, you ask the person, what's the time? Is 2. It might be 2. It's quarter to 2. It's about 2. It may be 2. I thought it was 2. All kind of information, all kind of, the person, you can't hold the person to something that they said. There's no integrity. All right. He might, or before you, the person is lying to other people. You say, oh, he loves me, she loves me. You
don't
like,
lie to me.
Like, oh my word, you are the next in line for a miracle. You are the next in line, I'm telling you, for a miracle. So very important for you to identify some of those. Of course, people lie at different times. But when this person is a chronic liar, what we call pathological, they have a big adjective in front of it, pathological liar. Where some people lie on the spot. They just lie about anything. You ask them about this, without having a reason to lie, they just lie. Where are you at? Oh, I'm going here. Or where is this person? Oh, I'm going. They just lie for no reason. Even when you ask them, why are you lying? They don't know. It's just inborn to conceal, to deny, to hide. It's not a very good sign. All right. So dishonesty is very, very, very bad. Why? Because the impact of that is the person might be dishonest about their finances once you get married. The person will be dishonest. When someone is dishonest about basic things in life, the person will probably have the tendency to cheat because you have to be very dishonest to cheat successfully without flinching an eye. All right. The person might get into debt and the person will hide it. So you want someone that when they tell you that A is A, is A. Very important for you to be able to build that kind of your life, to be able to have that kind of this thing, So very important for you to be able to. So dishonesty is one, not to be able to do that. Another one is someone who is really jealous and insecure. A jealous and insecure person is a no-no. Of course, there will be one or two signs of jealousy, and because if someone is not jealous, they may not really like. Some people will say though that there is no sign that the person really cares about you. But when the person is jealous to the point where they don't want you to have any so let's say you're a lady, they don't want you to have any female friend, they don't want you to have any male friend. That's not a very good sign. All right. They don't want you to, if you are a guy, they don't want you to have any female friend. They just want to chase up all your previous relationship. No, they want you all they want you all to themselves. You cannot have any other relation, not even extended family relationship.
It might seem fancy, but yes, that's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right. Because when you get into the relationship, This person might end up cutting you off support system, your support system. Okay, and begin to say things like, "Oh, I don't want your parents to visit. I don't want to see your siblings here." That's not right. Okay, should I throw one in?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll pack a number of them into it. Physical, emotional, financial, or mental abuse.
Abuse.
Yes, the person hits you the first time, and you think it's okay. It's not okay. Okay, and sometimes there's this thing where people say, "Oh, after each time he hits me, he gives me a very expensive gift."
Yeah.
Come on. You're more than a gift.
Oh my word.
Right? So this person needs to put value on you.
Upgrade your value.
If the person doesn't put value on you, how about you put value on yourself? Right? So you're more than a gift. It's about how people perceive you. People treat you how they perceive you. So if this person doesn't think you're a person of worth, a person of value, they will think it's okay to hit you. And once you tolerate that, it carries on into the relationship. You know, and sometimes I understand there are people who it's become a habit they picked, and but they need to deal with it before you get into marriage. They need to deal with it. You see, it starts gradually. You start with the little things. This person hits his younger ones. Okay, he's male, and he thinks it's okay to beat up his sisters who are adults. Right? That should be dealt with. You need to be calling the person out. This is not acceptable. Don't excuse it and say, "Oh, his sister was rude." And then you think it wouldn't happen to you when you get into marriage. No, don't accept some things. You know, I don't like it when people start making excuses for bad behavior. No. Yeah. If you're in a relationship, you should be able to speak out, you know, and call wrong wrong. Call what is wrong wrong. Okay. And then financial abuse, you become this person's cash cow. The only time the person remembers you is when the person is in need. There are people who have gone on into marriage, and you can see that probably the person keeps coming again and again, and he'll tell you, "Oh, I have this project I'm chasing, going to materialize soon." But this project never ends. Yes. Year in, year out.
Loan me this, loan me that.
Year in, year out. You're loaning this person. You can't see anything. There's no tangible thing the person has done or achieved. Just ideas, right? You need to pull back and ask questions. You know, call this person to a point of accountability.
Absolutely.
If they won't be accountable to you, then how about get yourself accountable to somebody else?
Absolutely.
We all should be accountable to someone, really. You know, if you're not accountable to yourself, then find someone who would assist you on that journey. Really important. Okay, so you find this sometimes, and then the person gets into marriage, probably chooses not to work, thinks it's okay not to work because you are working. That's not right. That's not right. And there's something, if it's a lady who is doing this, there's something my dear husband always says, that you deny the world of your resourcefulness when you choose not to work. There's value you've got to offer. You're denying the world of that. There's something, it doesn't have to be 9 to 5 like we make of it.
Absolutely.
But you have some contribution to make to
Absolutely.
your immediate environment.
Yes.
See it as a sense of responsibility. Okay, then emotional abuse. You're in a relationship with someone and the person keeps talking you down, keeps tearing you down every chance to get, you know, and you don't feel yourself.
Absolutely.
You feel like you're diminishing. You feel like you're shrinking. That's not right. People should glow. People should blossom.
Absolutely.
People should feel like they can take the world when they're in a relationship. So if you're in a relationship and it's everyday crying, everyday gloomy. I had a friend like that. And every day she calls me, she would cry, cry, cry. She didn't want to talk about it, but I knew that, come on, girl, this relationship is tearing you down. I don't know what he's doing to you, but you're not the same girl I used to know.
Absolutely.
And she would cry and cry and say, "Oh no," but he still says the sweet things after that. It's unacceptable. So let's not settle for less. Understand that you are deserving of honor as a person, as a human being. You're deserving of value. People should accord that to you. Okay. So if they can't, teach them to do that. But it starts with you. Value yourself, honor yourself.
Start with you. Oh, wow, fantastic.
Let's
it starts with you. So another point I want to add to that is boundaries. The person not respecting your boundaries. So you say to the person is calling you. You just text the person, "Can I call you back later?" And the person keep calling you 16 times. and running down your bathroom, and then you walk out to the room to check on the person. Yeah, I just wanted to know where you are. That's a very, let me not use the wrong words. All right, so that's a very bad behavior.
What if the person really cares?
No, you don't. If you,
I'm being cheeky.
you call, yeah, I know you're being
Yeah.
cheeky. If someone calls you twice and the person sends you a text, I'm in a meeting, can I call you back?
Yeah.
The thing to do is to wait, even if the person does not send you text. After the second call, phone etiquette says you wait. You don't call. Some people will call you. You'll be wondering what's happening here. Are we in a business partnership? Are we in a business relationship? What kind of a thing is it? Even a business partner cannot call you this. That's become abusive. All right. So you have to be able to understand the boundary. Once someone tells you, I don't want you to come to my house, don't go and be looking for their address and turning up. They don't know. They don't want this. I don't want you doing this. Respect people's boundaries. Don't just barrage it that, you know what, after all, we're in love, I can do anything. No. No. All right. So once people tell you no, no is no. Just respect that boundary. If they give you access, yes, they've given you access. But if they say no, even if they say yes and then they change their mind, that's it. You can't push anything beyond that. You are abusing the boundaries. All right. So you have to respect that. So this, and then another point is that the person never introduces you to any of their core friends. You are just this wonderful, best kept secrets. Nobody knows about you. Nobody knows that they're in a relationship. Everything about you is hidden. All right. Sometimes it might be because of some specific situation. So let's say because they are waiting for something to happen before they make that introduction. But some core people, their sisters should know, their brothers should know, somebody close to them should know. From there they can now begin to introduce you to people that are significant. Their mentors should know about you. Their core friends should know about you. Nobody knows about you. It's not a good sign. All right. You should ask the person, why are you not introducing me to certain people? Very, very important. So yeah, these are some of the points there are many more red flags. You may want to get our book, Relationship Red Flags, where we've covered many more things there. Yeah. And how to position yourself.
Okay, so we had to do our best with some of the questions. We've not quite finished all the questions, but it's been a wonderful time. It's been great doing this. We enjoyed it. Let's have your feedback. As always, we would love it if you would respond here for the benefit of others. But hey, we're still okay taking messages in our DMs and our inbox. All right. So thank you. Thank you to all our guests. Thank you to all those who joined us at some point. Thank you, Relationship Builder Forum, for the fires. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful here. And feel free to join us tomorrow. We have a session for the married people, married couples. So yes, married couples, some engaged couples have told us they'll join us. So feel free. If you're preparing for marriage, you might as well take advantage of the opportunity. You want to say something to?
It's been fantastic. We want to let you know that relationship might be daunting, but there is a science to it. There is an art to it. If you learn the science and the art, you have a great marriage. You have a great relationship. It's possible. And so these are some of the ways. We shared a few points, but to take the conversation further, we'll be more than happy to work with you. We'll have a 1 hour session, get to know you, get to see what you want us to deal with, and then we'll take it up from there.
Just check the description box. You'll find it. All right. All right.
All right.
We'll see you on the next